I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Thomas Edison when asked about the numerous attempts to design a light bulb. In the 1950s, there was a company called the Rocket Chemical Company that had a seemingly small but important task in the aerospace industry. They were trying to solve a huge problem for rockets and missiles: rust. The specific rocket they were working on was the Atlas rocket. Even though many of us think of Atlas as the rocket that launched some of the early Mercury astronauts into space, the Atlas started out as a missile and was the first operational intercontinental ballistic missile. As a missile, Atlases were expected to be built and then sit ready for indefinite periods of time. On a moment's notice, though, everything had to work perfectly in case the United States and the Soviet Union went from a Cold War to an active war. As you can imagine, a missile constantly out in the elements waiting for use is susceptible to corrosion and rust, which are bad for the delicate components inside a missile. It was critically important that some way of preventing corrosion and rust on the missile's outer skin be created. That is what the Rocket Chemical Company figured out how to make: a coating for Atlas missiles that prevented rust and corrosion. The WD part of the name was descriptive for what the coating did. WD stood for water displacement. The company did formula after formula, but each one failed over and over again. The 40 in WD-40 stands for the number of attempts it took to get it right. Another example in history of steadfast persistence through numerous failures, 39 to be exact, ultimately bringing massive success beyond their wildest dreams. The Rocket Chemical Company soon found that employees were taking WD-40 home to fix squeaky doors, loosen rusty bolts, and oil bike chains. The company realized it could be used by the public and started commercial production in 1958. In 1961, it was used by victims of Hurricane Carla along the U.S. Gulf Coast to recondition water-damaged vehicles and equipment. By 1965, it was being used by airlines, including Delta and United. Early WD-40 cans included a rocket silhouette in the logo, giving some clue about the product's origins, though more recent logo updates give no clue as to the product's origins at all. In 1968, it was sent to soldiers in Vietnam to prevent moisture damage on firearms. In 1969, the company finally changed their name from Rocket Chemical Company to WD-40, since that remained their lone product. It seemed that WD-40 had almost unlimited potential uses, since so many things can stick, squeak, rust, or just need general lubrication. In 1973, the WD-40 Company Incorporated went public with its first stock offering. It took off over the next decade, expanding distribution into hardware, aviation, and auto parts. A 1993 study discovered WD-40 was found in 4 out of 5 American homes and was widely used by consumers. It's amazing that something built for a rocket became one of the most common products ever used. In 2014, WD-40 was inducted into the International Air and Space Hall of Fame at the San Diego Air and Space Museum. While the uses of the water displacement agent have changed over time, the same formula is still sold today. The company now has a $1.3 billion net worth and annual revenues of nearly $400 million. We often hear successful people say that failure is an inevitable stepping stone on the way to accomplishing our goals. How many attempts are you willing to endure to reach the success that is waiting on the other side? Our greatest weakness lies in giving up. The most certain way to succeed is always to try just one more time. Thomas Edison. I hope you enjoyed that video. I've gotten a lot of value out of that. And how I do that is by taking things like, for instance, this WD-40 can I have at home. And when I think about, hey, I need to just give up, I need to stop, this is too much, whatever I'm doing, I think, have I given it 40 tries? Have I done that? And if I haven't, I just kind of, it gives me a little extra momentum to keep going. And as a side note, I'm not a spokesperson for WD-40 or the next product I'm going to bring up, which is Q-tips, because this is another visual reminder I use as a symbol. And the Q stands for quality tip, but what I do is I use it as quit taking it personal. So quit taking it personal. And if I feel that I'm getting too wound up, too emotional, let's say someone is giving me some feedback and I feel like, they're kind of critical or it's too attacking, then I just tell myself, hey, they're trying to help me. They're not trying to attack me. I'm taking it personal. Now, you can have a lot of fun with this you can just go up to someone if you think they need this and give them a can of WD-40 or give them a Q-tip, and it will definitely spark an interesting conversation. It might not be great dating advice, but if someone is struggling, they're upset, or they're in a thinking loop that they need to kind of break out of, having some of these visual reminders can really help. And I found it's a great way to get unstuck or to get out of being frustrated. So consider that. If you have WD-40 or Q-tips at home, if you could just put a yes in the comments below or a no if you don't have those, I'd appreciate that, because I'm just curious like how common this really is in people. Thank you for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you on the next time. All the best to you.